This is the new Forza Motorsport, and today I'm going to do my very best to review it. And at the end of the video, we will find out if Forza Motorsport is worth your money. So to give it a fair shot, I even paid for the premium add-on bundle. So starting off the review with the introduction, let's see if it's worth it. So after launching the game and going through a few settings, I was greeted with this nicely done cinematic trailer that I would say set some very high expectations for the game. Then right away we're placed into these introduction races to quickly get you acquainted with the mechanics of the game. The first event takes you around the fictional track called Maple Valley in the USA, driving the 2024 Corvette E-Ray. As I show off my incredible driving skills running into the back of the Subaru there.
Nice.
Now, after this event, we go all the way to Hakone, Japan, a stunning, fast-paced, real-world racetrack. And here I was driving the 2023 Cadillac V-Series R. And honestly, I was really enjoying this race. I wish I had maybe 1 or 2 more laps, but it is what it is. After that, you get to select your character's gender, a seemingly challenging thing to do these days.
It's not that hard.
Thankfully, Turn 10 Studios has made it simple for us to choose by offering 2 options, one with male-like features and the other with female-like features. Also, as a VIP member, you get access to perks and special outfits to let everyone know you're special on track. Then you're eased nicely into the Builders Cup with another short but well done introduction video and presented with 3 options of cars to select from: the 2019 Subaru STI 209, the 2018 Ford Mustang GT, and finally the 2018 Honda Civic Type R. I went with the Subaru because it has the all-wheel drive. Now before you race off into the sunset with your new shiny car, you're given a screen where you select your driver difficulty and rule set bonus. Now the more difficult you make each race, the more you're awarded credits at the end. So we're taken to Grand Oak Raceway, one of 3 circuits you will be racing on, starting off with a practice session where you're allowed to adjust a few settings like driver difficulty, fuel, and you can also view more details on the race events as well. So after the practice session, you will have your race day where we will be fighting against the AI, hopefully for a wonderful podium finish. And the other 2 tracks I raced on in this introduction series to the Builders Cup includes Mugello in Italy and Kyalami in South Africa. The Builders Cup is divided into themed tours, with each tour containing multiple car theme style championships. For example, this modern tour consists of events for modern day sports cars. Each championship series require you to select a car that's fitting for that championship series and contain multiple races. Your main goal in the Builders Cup is to level up your selected car to unlock parts that you can use to upgrade and tune your car so you can stay competitive against the AI. Now, overall, I think this really allows you to understand how different upgrades affect the performance and handling of your car, even though this might seem a bit time consuming to say the least. The Forza Motorsport progression system is similar to that of a role-playing game, aka RPG, where you level up your character and equipment using experience points, XP. Creative director at Turn 10 Studios, Chris Isaki, said that based on the new progression system, Forza Motorsport can be considered as a car PG. Now let's talk about how car progression and upgrades work. Each car you own starts at level 1 and has a max level of 50. You now have to level up your car using XP to unlock access to upgrades and tuning, which means you can't just buy a car, slap on the biggest turbo and go blazing down the track, winning every race. Now my biggest gripe with this type of leveling system is that if you buy 2 of the same cars, let's say you want to have one for track racing and another for drag racing, you will have to level up both cars from level 1 all the way to level 50, which doesn't make sense to me.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Just allow us to level up that model car one time. So you gain car XP when you do things like overtake other cars, achieving your target lap time set by the game, and getting good track segment scores. Now each time you level up your car, you earn a currency called car points. Each car has a maximum amount of car points that can be earned for use on that car specifically. Now these car points are then used to buy performance parts for that car, and car points are always refundable. So let's say you bought a car part that negatively affects how you drive and you wish to swap it out with another car part that you think would be better. You won't lose anything. Thanks to this type of currency, you can say goodbye to grinding races for money just to buy the parts you need. So you might be wondering, how do you buy cars? Well, after each race you still earn your race rewards, which includes your credits that you will use to purchase your cars. Also, each time you race, you get what is called driver experience points. Higher the number means the more time you spend driving, which is kind of like flight hours for pilots. Now, another thing to factor in when it comes to driver progression, mainly on the multiplayer side, is your skill rating, which is a number between 1000 and 5000. Again, the higher the number, the better. And safety rating, which ranges from S, A, B, C, D, E, with S being the highest and E being the lowest. Now these ratings will be used to determine which multiplayer lobbies you get placed in, so it makes sense to always practice to drive safe, clean and competitively online so you can have good lobbies to get good races. I think that out of the box this game feels really good on a wheel. It works. Now I'm using the Thrustmaster TMX Pro, an entry-level sim racing wheel and pedal set. The force feedback in my experience was detailed enough for me to pick this game up and start having fun on the wheel. Now I'm sure with a few tweaking of the settings, the feedback can be dialed in for a more precise and accurate feel. Now Forza has always felt great on a controller, and I'm happy to say that this hasn't changed. Now the tire model in the game has been greatly overhauled and improved, making oversteer and understeer more pronounced, so you're better able to feel what the car is doing as you rotate the car. For example, when you apply the brakes and the ABS kicks in, you can not only see the subtle camera jitters, but you also feel those vibrations in the steering as the ABS is working, which I think is a really nice touch by the Turn 10 team. Now crashing seems to be alright as well, based on the few collisions that I've had so far. Okay, maybe not a few, but you get the point. Now, as I stated earlier in the video, the new Forza Motorsport is geared towards the simulation side of life. There will be a number of things to take into account when you are racing on the track, like the type of tire compound you're using, the track limits, and the overall car setup. Now, I noticed something very interesting while I was racing with the manual and clutch settings on. I couldn't shift as fast and aggressively with the stock clutch and transmission until I was able to upgrade it, which to me adds another layer of realism to the game. So the parts you have on your car will really affect the way you race. Pit stops are a thing in this game finally, and the options are not too complicated, and the animation is okay, even though I was expecting to see a little bit more, but the fact that it is here is a welcome addition to the game. Driving like a retarded taximan isn't going to work out for you, because time penalties are something to consider when playing. You definitely want to be good with the stewards when out on the track. The penalty system uses an AI algorithm to identify when a penalty should be awarded after a collision or when you intentionally cut the track. The penalty system seems robust, but I think it's a bit lenient right now, which I'm sure will change as the penalty system continues to learn more about driving behaviors and habits. Now, the AI drivers can definitely give you a run for your money in this game, holding their line, driving competitively, but at times they will do some weird like slowing down too much in a corner, and I had my difficulty set between 4 and 5 out of 8, so I'm sure that with max difficulty they can be faster and more consistent. If there's one thing Turn 10 seems to really excel at, it's creating a beautiful showcase of a game with mirror light reflections, vibrant colors, and amazing lighting. And the new Forza Motorsport is nothing short of that. They really try to make this game look realistic. However, because of this chase for a realistic look, some of the art details tend to look a little bit hazy, washed out, or dull in some sense, and I'm playing on the powerful Series X with performance ray tracing on. So this is something that I would definitely like to see them address maybe in future updates, especially for those photo mode shots. Now the menus and user interface is easy to navigate and look good for the most part, so I didn't have much to complain about here. So overall, I would say it's a fantastic looking game and there are a lot of eye candy moments to enjoy. Currently, the game has 20 laser scan tracks with different variations, and finally, Forza Motorsport now has dynamic time of day and weather. Now there are over 500 plus cars across multiple classes for you to race and level up. Turn 10 Studios has plans to increase these numbers by adding more tracks and cars post launch, which is good because I think this will keep the game fresh, so not much to complain about here. Now I must commend the Turn 10 developers for making an effort to provide an overall amazing sounding game. The environment sounds are nicely done. You can actually hear the sound dynamics change when you drive close to the track wall or through an enclosed area. You really hear the curves as you drive over them, and you can definitely hear your opponent's engines nearby, which can be a bit overpowering because I did find myself having a hard time hearing my car at one point. But just like steering settings, you may have to tweak the sound volumes to your liking and preference. Engine sounds do sound good in this game, even though I wish the turbo and blower sounds were more pronounced. So Turn 10, if you're happening to watch this, let's make it happen, alright? You have your career mode, which is the Builder's Cup. We spoke about that at length earlier in the video. Next, you have your featured multiplayer, where you go head to head with other real players online with similar ratings, similar skills. Now these races are scheduled and preset, and they follow the race weekend format. So you have your practice session, your qualifying, and then the actual race. Personally, I enjoy this approach to the multiplayer as I think it makes for better and more competitive racing. Next, you have your free play mode. This is where you pretty much go in and set up whatever type of single player race that you want. Then you have the rivals mode. This is about bragging rights, where you hop in and set or challenge lap times on tracks to see where you rank on the leaderboard among other players globally, in your region, or just with your friends. Private multiplayer. This is where you create your own custom multiplayer events to play with your friends online with whatever type of weather, type of car, number of laps, and pretty much the entire race setup is at your control. There's also a livery editor where you can design and paint your cars to your liking. For the replay and photo modes, these are okay, they get the job done. I want to rant a bit before I give the verdict, because Microsoft and Turn 10 Studios have done an absolute Alice in Doodleland of a job to market this game. From those half-baked promotional videos and social media updates had me in a constant state of what the f***. Do better, guys. I think the new Forza Motorsport has found a good balance with just enough depth to appeal to a broad audience. I think it's shaping out to be one of the biggest and most approachable sim racing titles on PC and Xbox. The fact that this game is a live service game that supports cross-play and cross-progression solidifies my views. Now, I also see this game as a promising esports title with the right people behind it, but I guess only time will tell. So I'm giving this game an 8.5 out of 10. So yes, the new Forza Motorsport is worth buying. What I can also tell you is that liking this video and subscribing to the channel will definitely be worth it too. Thanks for watching. I'm out.